Welcome to the Straight from the Source's Mouth podcast. Frank talk about sex and dating.
Hello, Tamara here. Welcome to the show. Today's guest is back again, Claire Doré, and this time we'll be talking about letting go of the lens of healing, leading with intuition and higher consciousness. Thanks for joining me again, Claire.
Thank you, Tamara. It's just great to be back here, and huge amount has happened in that time. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Just said a lot has happened. So what exactly caused you to want to redo and share new information?
Yeah, where do I start with this? I have basically been through another awakening, and really awakening to like a whole new level that I was not ready to almost embody before. And it's like, I do believe that like when we are ready to embrace a higher truth, like the teacher will show up, and we are ready to just fully lean into that. And that's pretty much the experience that I've had really in this kind of like, so the last 5-6 months since we last spoke, I have shifted from the operating out of the lens of healing, which I was previously kind of living my life, but also coaching through, and really embodying the perspective of expansion. It's just changed everything, but particularly how I feel and how I am now responding to reality. Something kind of like, there were several things that were kind of like leading up to this. And I took some very bold actions around a few things, and kind of like completed some chapters. Really, like these actions were quite big. They were uncomfortable, but felt really deeply aligned. And I feel like that had to happen to kind of energetically shift me to then be able to really accept and apply this new level of work that I am now leading my clients through, which is all around the higher consciousness.
Can you give an example of one thing, just so we can get an idea of the kinds of things that cause a shift?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. The final piece was that really kind of caused me to wake up was a car crash. I had a car, an Audi, and I was making a conscious decision to give it back to the garage, right, to sell it back to them. And that felt like the right decision for me to let go of this car. And so I put my car in the garage to get just like some of the scratches done, and it was all sparkling, all looking like great, right? I'd spent some money on it, and it looked amazing. The week before I was to take it to the garage, someone went in the back of me. And I was like, when this happened, I knew there was something divine timing about it. It just felt that. It was just like, this is something bigger than me not just taking this car back. There is something bigger about this. It just created this real curiosity. But what actually happened was I fell into this real victim state and allowed this accident to really impact how I was feeling. And it was like I was aware that I was allowing this to go on, but it was like I was observing myself from this like higher perspective. Literally kind of spent like 24 hours or so in this kind of pity party, just observing my behavior and really conscious about it. And it was like, literally, like I woke up the next day and it was like everything had changed. The way I was then seeing the world just totally shifted. And it's like I just shifted myself out of this victim consciousness into this higher level, and essentially like the start of quantum leaping. I've been taught about quantum leaping years ago, and it's always been shown to me as like a process. But actually, what I recognize is it's not something that you can force. It's not a process that you can put yourself through. It's like you have to be ready, and it's almost like your soul will create that for you. And it's very much feels like it's come from that place of me being fully in alignment with my highest self.
Yeah. It sounds like it, like transformation or shift, like you said, like a pretty quick one. So that led you to start coaching, that kind of stuff, like getting out of that victim mentality, or just like everything associated with that mindset versus this one.
Yeah, essentially, it really caused me to throw everything up in the air. And what I realized was how I was previously um, looking at myself, but also how I was coaching was through this lens of healing, which creates this separation where you are talking about a subconscious mind, you're talking about a conscious mind, you're talking about old programming, all separation, talking about trauma. And it's like all these things can cause you to kind of be in a place of blame. And I think what it really allowed me to see is that coaching under the perspective of healing was causing me, but also my clients, to look for something wrong, look for something that needed fixing, always searching, always looking. And I realized that, just shifting out of that and jumping straight into like this higher consciousness teaching and all around expansion, and actually knowing that we are completely one, and whatever comes up, it's just like it's just us, right? It's just us. Like we are one. There's no separation. Like we are whole as we are. And then what it allows you to do is just like, you're not looking for anything wrong. You're not doing loads of rituals to try and find out what's holding you back. It's like you live from a place of authenticity, follow whatever feels fun and exciting, and what's out of alignment just literally comes up to the surface, so you can just unhook it. So it's just changed everything. For me, it's like I feel completely different, and how I'm responding to things is completely different. But also my clients, I am seeing like literally daily this transformation, like huge.
I would say we can either talk about, the kind of coaching you do and how people can reach you, or give like an example of some stuff that people have gone through and fixed.
Yeah.
Not fixed.
yeah, not fixed, just unhooked. And I think a lot of the way that I'm coaching now is, instead of previously, like there would be a lot of maybe going into the story, into the past. When we keep going back into that, we are recreating it in our future, right? Wherever we place our energy is what we're then going to create. And so instead of going into the whole story of that, it's like, okay, what is the disempowering story that is present here? And supporting my clients in really helping them to recognize they are choosing that story in this moment. And by doing that, it allows it to shift out of the body energetically so that they can really uncover what is their truth. And like an example is, one of my clients realized that one of her friendships was incredibly toxic and really draining. Like she was becoming really, the more she was expanding in my kind of container, the more she was just like really bumping up against this person in her life, like repelling her. And what she started to notice is she started to respond differently, because she could see that she created this person so that she could elevate herself and expand herself. She started to take back her power. And that's essentially what I am supporting my clients do, is to take back their power and really embody all of who they are.
I'm in a similar spot now, like trying to figure out like what it is I like, who I want to spend my time with. And
I was going to say, it's like so important to become very conscious what you're feeding yourself. What are you consuming? Even down to like what music you're listening to, what films you're choosing to watch, like what are you putting into your mind? And it's all it's all being conscious about your energy. And like in your home, it's like, what are the things that are not lighting you up? Get rid of them. Just get rid of them. And if, say you've got a desire that you want to create, huge wealth, that you have a desire to be a multimillionaire or billionaire, whatever that might be, it's like, okay, so you need to remove anything that is connected to poverty or poor. Just like strip it away.
Yeah, it's funny. I just hired an organizer like a month ago and she brought like 25 bags out, and I have a pretty small place. So
yeah, it's taking energy, it's taking energetic space. And when we can start to see that, we can then like make a conscious choice. And one of my, the steps that I took before, like just right before my awakening, it's probably a couple of months before, to be honest, is I noticed how, so I'm single and dating, open to dating, let me say. I'm not dating anyone right now. I'm divorced and I'm single. And what I realized, that the dating apps were stealing my energy. It was like they were controlling my energy. So even though I'd had good boundaries around when I would go in and interact, the thought would pop up, oh, I wonder if so-and-so has like messaged me back, or whatever it was, right? Taking me away from the present moment, which is where we create from, and stealing my energy. As soon as I saw that, it was like, oh my gosh, like let go. That's it. They have to go. Have to go.
Yeah, I know it's going to sound like a broken record, but I'm there with you on that too. Like, yeah, getting
Yes.
I was only on one, but yeah, I've taken like months off from it.
Yeah, I think it's all about, energy. And I recognize, the shift in myself is I have been able to reclaim my power and my energy. And so refueling myself essentially. And where I feel now is I'm in such a place of security. I thought I was secure before, and I realize how I feel now. Like, oh no, this is feeling secure in myself. Like this is a completely different vibe and energy. And what I recognize is I no longer need or looking for a partner. Not at all. It's like I am so comfortable in who I am and just living my life and loving it, that it's like, yeah, a guy is just a bonus. Like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's so fine. And I don't think I could ever really fully say that before.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the root of everything. They say you have to love yourself first, and like you said, the more you know yourself, and the more. And I definitely agree with what you said earlier, going back to like the music and the shows, and I haven't watched the news in years because I don't want all that negativity. And then the shows I used to choose ones with more drama and like just gossipy drama, and I'm like, nope, I don't want to hear that either.
How amazing to realize that. Yeah, that is it. You are, consciously being very conscious about your energy and where you place it, and yeah, what is interacting with you, right? That's amazing.
Yeah. Do you like what I know you said consciousness teaching, like it's obviously you're talking about energy, but is there more stuff to say on that or?
Essentially it's really applying that we are all the creator and embodying the I am energy. And when you really lean into this perspective, it's all about actually knowing, right? Really knowing, like that feeling of knowing that everything you desire, as long as they are your true desires, are already created. Like creation is done. So it's about then elevating your vibration and frequency, so your energy, which is why, like what you've been doing recently, like decluttering and clearing the things that are so out of alignment. This is it. Like when you're expanding, like you just know what's out of alignment. And it's just like, once you've seen it, it's like, right, that goes. I've got rid of some I got rid of my car, right? That was a big thing that was like, suddenly that was out of alignment. It's like clear, huge thing. And then like the people that showed up in my life as a result of letting go of that physical thing, right? Because it was taking energetic space. Yeah, just like clothes that, like had quite a big sort of a sentiment, I want to say. It was like, no, not anymore. Has to go. Has to go. It's like seeing things in a different light, and with new eyes. And I think that's it. It's like I'm noticing right now, like I'm not really connected to many people. Like it's just I'm not needing it. I'm just really mastering myself. As I've been quantum leaping, is like being in this kind of like sort of like a bubble, really. Like what I call it, like a void, where I've almost like put myself in this isolation. Like I've seen my kids, right? But it's really interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know why this is happening. Well, I guess because our energy and why we wanted to do this episode, but I'm in the same exact space. like I'm literally just kind of like chilling and not really making effort to isolating basically until then. Yeah. And feel like it'll renew me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh, for sure. And the thing is, like, we have been told that we need to do to be remunerated. I have a client right now who was sharing with me recently. She's like, I keep asking my intuition, like, what am I meant to do? What do I do for my business? And her intuition just keeps going, nothing. And I was just like, massive smiles and like trying not to laugh because I was like, yeah, I know what's happening to you. It's like, you're in the isolation. And I know exactly what comes from this. It's like, yeah. So she's kind of like, yeah, almost put herself in this interesting kind of isolation. And yeah, like her intuition is just going, yep, you do nothing, right? So powerful, so powerful. We've been brainwashed to do. And it's very much unhooking that and only ever acting when something feels really, really like you're really passionate about it and really excited about it. That's the only time. And that's our intuition speaking.
And I know I've heard Oprah say in the past, like, when in doubt, don't.
Exactly.
Do you want to share how people can reach you if they want to work with you, or the kind of stuff you do?
Yes, thank you. I would love to. I have a few ways to work with me. The first step, quite often for people, is a one-off one-to-one call, which is a 90-minute intensive with me. I call it the game changer because I teach them how to play the game of life. I also have a container for women called the Expansion, and I am just about to launch a new program, which is a very short container, because what I've realized is when you are coaching from the perspective of expansion, you don't need to keep people in containers for a long time because you're not keeping them in a process like you are when you are in the healing world. And that's my perspective anyway, and from my own experience. So it's a 3-month container and it's called The Leap, and it's for people who are absolutely ready to go all in and quantum leap. And I will only be taking the people who are like, yeah, just like fully in, and they'll know. So those are the offerings that I have right now. And so I am on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, The Wild Woman CEO. And on Facebook is Claire Doré. The E has an acute.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And do you have any kind of final thoughts or like stuff you want to for sure make sure we cover?
I think the final piece really is something I've kind of always talked about in my business, but now I'm really understanding like the real depth and importance of this, which is essentially trust is the thing to embody and keep, I want to say practicing, like just that is the thing, right? Because to quantum leap, actually, you need to trust. You just need to trust.
And when you say trust, you're saying like trust yourself and your intuition and what you think of what you need to do or not do. But yeah.
Thinking is dangerous is what I've learned. Thinking is dangerous. If you try and make logic of your intuition, like it's going to stop you moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I've agreed with you all along, so I'm sure, because I always say I have plan A through D. I like work my way towards many things, but like one always seems to become the front runner. So and I'm open to everything new, and I pursue it a little bit, or at least, give it energy and like think about it. And I've always felt like I make good decisions. So awesome.
Yes, I love that you feel which one has got the energy, because that is it. That is the one to trust and act on.
Yeah. And then in the past, when I've tried to like kind of force it, or like I need to get here, and like when the more you try and the more it's not happening. I mean, sometimes you can overcome, and that's one thing, but yeah, at some point you either know it's like not meant for you. I know Jay Shetty talks about that, I think.
I agree. Yeah.
Thank you very much for being on. And I'm glad we got to redo this after your awakening transformation.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yep. Alrighty. Yeah. Thanks again. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to tell your friends about it and rate it as well. All right, everyone. Thank you.
Frank Talk, sex and dating educates.